everybody, happy Thursday, and this is the first video on my new phone. I got a new phone, and so I'm trying to figure out how it even works, but it's much like my old phone. It's just a little bit bigger. So, if it's Thursday, where am I at? I'm on Twitter, so if you ask your questions using the hashtag KatieFAQ, I found them, and I've already talked to some of you and answered some of your questions and messaged with you, and wow, I'm really tight on this frame here. Okay, so I have 3 questions that I'm going to answer today, as well as a journal topic that I came up with myself. So I think you're going to like it because I already like it. I'm excited about it. Okay, first question says, hey Katie, how can you break out of a binge/purge/restrict cycle? I don't know what to do anymore. And I actually picked this because I know that a lot of people who are in recovery from an eating disorder really struggle with this cycle because one thing leads to the next, to the next, to the next. And there are a few helpful yet simple tools that we can try to put into place to stop us from getting caught in that cycle where we feel like, well, now I've done this and then I have to do that, and before we know it, we've been doing it for days and days and days. So the first thing that I always encourage my clients to do is get a dietitian or a nutritionist, have a meal plan, follow it strictly for a couple, maybe a month, until you feel better apt to notice your hunger and fullness cues, because sometimes it takes us a while to even figure out what is hunger and fullness and how do I know to eat before I'm so hungry because I feel like I've been restricting and then I'm triggered by that and then I'm binging and so it can take us a little while to get in touch with that. And the intuitive eating workbook that I've talked about, there's a book called Intuitive Eating Workbook. You can check it out, and they talk about that too on your hunger and fullness scale from 1 to 10. And I have my clients also do an emotional scale from 1 to 10 and kind of relating those. So that's the first thing, is to see a nutritionist, dietitian, so we can get better in touch with how our body feels. Now, if you're like, I'm already seeing a dietitian and nutritionist, but I'm still doing this, then the second thing that I would encourage you to do is to talk to your therapist about it, because that means that it's not just the food portion where we're feeling too hungry and then we binge and then we feel bad about it and we compensate. It's more about the emotional level, like noticing your 1 to 10 for emotionality that day and what's going on. And then my guess would be that there may be some extra stuff going on in your life and things are happening, or you're feeling really stressed out or out of control, or maybe you've been triggered lately. That would be my guess that that's going on. So I would encourage you to talk to your therapist about it, because we know that it's not really about the food, but when we're in recovery and we're struggling to cue in with our hunger and fullness, then it could be a little bit about the food. So those are the 2 things that I would recommend: talking to your therapist and working with a dietitian and nutritionist to get better in touch with that. And that tends to slowly, keep in mind slowly, it's a process, not perfection, slowly get things more, I don't even like to say under control, but more in a recovery stance. Okay? I hope that helps. And if any of you have tips and tricks on what helped you get out of that cycle, let us know below, as always. Okay, question number 2. I feel detached from my emotions. How can I engage more? Inside, I know I'm sad, angry, etc., but I'm never able to express it. And there are a couple easy, quick tools and things that we can do to help express it. It's hard for a lot of us to express it. And for some people, we feel like they express it way too much. Those people like scream in their cars and flip people off. They're like, you know, bounding with overfilled emotion. So what's a healthy way to feel our emotion, express it, and actually even be able to recognize what it really is we're feeling? Now, the first thing that I have clients do is just name some emotions. We're going to make an emotion list. You've all seen those things. I used to have one on my fridge that was like a magnet, and how am I feeling today? And you move the little block around, like today I'm feeling sad, today I'm feeling exhausted, today I'm feeling super excited, today, whatever. I want you to make lists of different emotions, as many as you can think of. Keep going through them. I don't care, because these are words that you know, terms that you associate with emotions, and I want you to write them down. And then about 3 to 5 times a day, depending on how often, how much time you have, I want you to recognize how you're feeling. I want you to check in with yourself. Maybe having a little alarm that goes off on your phone that's like, and people are like, what's that? Oh, I'm supposed to text someone. You don't have to tell them what you're doing. You go into your list, and I want you to associate at least one of those emotions with how you're feeling currently. That emotion could even be blah. I feel blah sometimes, and that's an emotion. That's a feeling. I feel it. And that can help us start understanding what emotion it is that we're actually feeling, because expressing it is the next step. We have to first be able to recognize what it is that we're actually feeling in ourselves in order to express it, because she says that she's never able to express it. And then we're going to practice at home, because everything we have to start small. We have to start in safe environments. We have to start with little steps until we start feeling comfortable enough when we're out to be like, I'm annoyed. I gotta go. I can't deal with this anymore. And we're okay expressing that annoyance and being that way. And it's all okay. So I would encourage you, when you're checking in, if you're at home, if you have time, if you're alone, if you're in your car and it's a safe place and no one's going to see you, be around you, whatever, and you're fine, when you notice what emotion it is, you circle in there, you're like, I'm feeling frustrated. Then I want you to pretend you're kind of in acting class. I want you to express what frustrated looks like. I want you to show me what frustrated looks like. Is it like, do we stomp our feet? Do we pound our fists? What do? I want you to pretend and practice expressing it. And then do a second expression that's like, what would I do if I was in public and I felt really frustrated? But I had to show it. I still had to show the emotion. What would that look like? And it helps for us to do an extreme version and then a tamed down version, and to feel what that's like, to recognize, to attach an expression to the emotion. Okay, so I feel this way and I act this way. And the more we do that, the more in touch with our emotions we get. And I know this sounds really silly, it's a really long process, but I promise you it really, really helps, because we're learning little by little how we are feeling, and we're learning how to express it in an overtly dramatic fashion, and then in a way that can actually be used in our regular life. And so we're getting used to that feeling, because I find it's often the lack of experience expressing things, or when we were younger, we expressed things, and in our family of origin where they're like, no, we don't do that. That is bad. Stop doing that immediately. You're embarrassing me or whatever. So we learn to stop. And it's because we haven't done it in so long, we feel really nervous about it. We don't really know what we want to say or do or how, or what if people get offended. And so practicing it, thinking about it, learning about ourselves really helps give us that confidence, so that we can someday, very, very soon, feel something and express it in a real way, and it'll be okay. And we'll feel more like normal with the way that we feel our emotions and the way we express them. Okay? Now, question number 3. Hey, Katie, will I ever lead a normal sex life? I was sexually abused as a child for 6 years. He is the only person that I've had sex with, even though it was rape. Every time I'm with someone and it gets sexual, I freak out and I can't go through with it. I'm 26 now and I'm so embarrassed that I've not had a sexual relationship, but I don't know if I'm a virgin or not. Will this be like this forever? I feel no desire to have sex really, but I just can't go through with it, and my relationships fail because of it. I would love to have kids someday, so should I just force myself one time when I'm drunk or something? I don't know what to do. I don't talk about this because it's so embarrassing. No one knows. Now, I want to talk about this because I know that many of you struggled with sexual abuse in your past, and I've mentioned to you over and over the Courage to Heal workbook. It's amazing. I love it. I know some people aren't so crazy about it, but it's something that I've utilized year after year, and I find it really, really helpful. Now, are you a virgin? I say yes. I always tell my clients that if that's something that they desire, if they feel like they want their first time to be in a loving way with someone they care about, you're a virgin. Rape is not your choice. It's not taking your virginity. It's not something like that. If that's the way you want to view it, then I would view it that way. Now, should you just get drunk and have sex with someone just to get it over with? No, let's not do that. I've had clients try similar things like that, and it almost re-traumatizes us, and we really don't want to put ourselves back in that position to have a bad situation again, to have something traumatic happen again. Now, what we can do is really work on our own recovery from the sexual abuse, and it takes time. And when we finally do decide to have sex with someone in a loving way, it may take us many tries at it. We need to have someone who is willing to work with us, who understands, who we can talk to about our past before we even attempt at sex, and they're okay with where we're at, and they understand, and they're willing to listen and to support us. Now, I know for many girls are like, God, finding a good guy anyway, Katie, is just crazy, and you're asking for a lot. But I promise you, if a guy cares about you, if he wants to have sex with you, he wants to fall in love with you, wants to be with you in general, he will listen, he will do his best to understand, but we have to be able to communicate it to them. And that's what you're going to have to journal about, you're going to have to process through in therapy about. You're going to have to start working on your past. And I know that there's a lot of embarrassment and shame that comes along with it. And that's why the Courage to Heal workbook is so great, because towards the end, she talks about how to then have a healthy, happy sexual relationship, and how you may have to start and stop, and you may have to tell them, I can't do this right now. You may have to come back to it. And they have to be very patient with you as you can recreate a scenario in your life that's healthy, happy, and loving, including sex. And it can take a little bit of time. And so the more we can work with our mate on it and find someone that wants to lovingly understand where we're at and meet us there, it's be amazing. It can be wonderful. And there are people out there who will be patient with you, who will listen, but it's important on the other side for us to do the work as we process through it so that we can even actually contemplate having sex. Because like you said, you don't even have any thoughts of it right now. And that's very, very common to almost feel like we're asexual, like sex just, is just not going to happen because of what's happened to us in the past. So work with your therapist. I wouldn't focus so much on finding a guy right now. Oh, the light went out. I guess it must have got too hot. Because we never know, right? They have to meet us where we're at. And you may just not be there yet. Okay? Now the journal topic today is something that I love, love, love. And it's because I was going through my desk. Sean and I got new furniture a while back, and I've been going through all of my stuff, and I found some old coloring books. Hey, so I want all of you to color. Share your coloring photos. Get some new crowns with like the perfect tip, and everything's perfect, and the paper hasn't been torn, it hasn't been put in that horrible crown sharpener, and make some beautiful coloring art, because I love to color. It's so cathartic feeling the crown on that paper. So let's express ourselves through coloring, and then share your photos, because I love it, and I'm so excited, and I can't wait to get a new box of crayons. Yay! Okay, I love you all. Tomorrow is finally Friday, so I'll see you on Facebook. So ask your questions there using the hashtag KatieFAQ. Bye!